Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So, spicy video for you coming up. This is going to be all about how much it cost me to have a baby in the UK. So I'm going to get into all of the details and all of the numbers of everything that we spent money on during my experience of fertility and conception, pregnancy, labour and birth, and then also the first few months postpartum. Now, a few disclaimers and caveats before we dive in. I live in the UK. We have the NHS, the National Health Service. This basically means that I had zero medical costs. I absolutely love the NHS. Obviously, it's got some issues due to underfunding from 12 years of a Tory government, but despite its issues, I still had excellent care for free throughout my entire pregnancy, labour and delivery and days postpartum in the hospital. I mean, I say excellent care, you've seen my postpartum video, maybe not so much then. But alas, we love the NHS. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Another caveat, this is not complete. Some of it is the exact numbers, some of it is rough estimates, and it's also the things that I remembered. So there might be some things missing here, but hopefully it will still give you a good full picture and idea of the costs involved. You can absolutely do everything that I did for a lot less and also for a lot more. And then also, of course, there were some areas where money was saved. I was no longer drinking alcohol or really going out, so there was definitely a lot of money saved in those categories. How much? I don't know. And then also the money that I was spending on tennis. After about 20 something weeks of pregnancy, I had to call it quits, but then I took out a very bougie, expensive gym membership for the last 3 months of my pregnancy. But then of course that has since been cancelled because one does not have the time to go swimming alone. But very much appreciated that during pregnancy. And then another disclaimer, I am a cis woman, my partner is a cis man, and we conceived through penis and vagina penetration. Obviously there are different costs associated with different methods of conception. That is how we did it. And we're able to do it because of who we are and our bodies. So let's dive into the first category, which is indeed conception. So if you were following my Hormone Diaries journey during the conception process, you'll know that I used a fair few fertility tracking apps. And whilst this is not normal, like because most people only use one for work, I used 5, but the cost of all of them together was about £70. I also bought 1 pack of ovulation tests from Boots, which cost about £10. And then my partner did a sperm test, which cost around £300. So all in all, our total monetary cost for conceiving, not the emotional cost, that's very different, but monetary, £380. Next up is pregnancy, and the first thing is the transport to and from hospital. So Dan has a car and we had to pay for parking at the hospital car park, and that was the main way that we got back and forth from appointments. However, the hospital maternity car park and the hospital general car park at some point, I think it was kind of when like COVID restrictions started lifting a bit more, was just packed. We couldn't find a place to park anywhere, and it was so chaotic that for one of my scans, Dan couldn't come inside with me. He was just driving around in the car because there was no space to park. So after that experience that I did not like very much because I wanted him to be there with me, we then got lots of Ubers to and from the hospital. So it all adds up. So parking total during my pregnancy was £33.60. Uber total to and from the hospital during my pregnancy was £227.92, which brings our transport costs during pregnancy to £261.52. What fun. Next up, I bought myself a pregnancy pillow, the Dream Genie or something, and this cost £54. I also got another pregnancy pillow, but that was a gift, so not counting that. Then I also bought myself a bunch of maternity clothes because I needed to cover that bump. I'm pretty sure I got all of the pregnancy clothes secondhand, and it included some jeans, some tops, and a winter coat, and that came to a total of £75. Next category is the lotions and potions category. Now, I am not a lotions and potions kind of gal. In fact, I got gifted from friends and family way more lotions and potions than I would ever use. And in fact, I only really used one, which I bought myself, which was £10 for some bio oil to rub on my belly. Next up is apps that I used during pregnancy. And the only pregnancy app that I used was Clue, and their pregnancy mode is in their Plus feature. And this cost £24. I actually didn't intend to use this. I just forgot to cancel before it expired and then was charged £24, but that's how much that cost. And then, as I mentioned, my gym membership, which I got for 3 months during the last 3 months of my pregnancy, where I went swimming so much. It was so necessary. I absolutely loved it. And total for that 3 months came to £270. And of course, I needed a swimsuit for my pregnant body, and the only place that I can buy any kind of underwear, bras, swimsuit, bikinis to fit these boobs is Bravissimo, and so my swimsuit cost me £54. So that brings our pregnancy total to £748.50, I think, I hope. I've not double checked this maths. Here's hoping it checks out, but roughly about that. The next category is the birth, labour and the birth. So once again, as you'll have seen from my birth video, we were back and forth from the hospital a few times during labour, and so guess what? That's more parking costs, baby. So parking for just that 4-day period came to £32, and that's because £15 of that was discharge day, because Dan arrived in the morning and then we weren't discharged until like 5 p.m. So we paid for parking that entire day. On the birthday / when we actually finally got admitted, like that day and then like the day that Rowan was born, you get free parking. How exciting. But because I was in labour for so long and we were back and forth from the hospital, we had to pay for all of the parking when we weren't admitted, alas. And then the other thing that I've included in the birth category is my hospital bag. So we did a massive shop in Boots, which came to about £80. So that was kind of like everything that you can get from Boots that was in the hospital bag. And then also all of those nighties that I bought on Vinted, the clothes that I was wearing during labour and birth, that came to £10. So hospital bag £90, parking £32, quick maths £122 for the birth. Because your girl didn't pay a thing for her cesarean or the water thingy or her epidural or any of it. Thank you, NHS. Next up is the baby category, things that we bought for Rowan. Now, in this category, I'm not including any current ongoing costs like nappies and wipes or childcare. I don't know specifically what we're spending on nappies and wipes. All I know is that our groceries bill has gone up by £100 a month, there or about. And that's probably on Rowan stuff or, you know, satisfying my breastfeeding appetite. So it's all going into Rowan anyway. And then we're currently spending £400 a month on childcare, but those costs are not included in this. This is kind of like pre-baby, getting ready for baby, one-off purchases that we made. So first up, clothes. Now, most of Rowan's clothes were either gifts from friends and family or hand-me-downs from friends and family. So we have spent very little money on clothes for Rowan. I kind of roughly estimated that we spent about £40 on clothes for him. We bought some vests from Boots for £9, some vests from Morrison's at one point for £5. I bought him a bunch of second-hand clothes that came to £26. So that's how that 40 quid is roughly made up. Everything else has been hand-me-downs and gifts. Next up is furniture. So like the big baby items. So things that we didn't pay for that we either got secondhand or as a gift were his cot, car seat, and playmat. But things that we did purchase, so we got a whole new chest of drawers for all of his stuff, and that cost £200. We got this high chair situation that like works as a high chair once he's actually like sat up in it, but it comes with a bouncer that can just be a bouncer, but it can also be on top of the high chair as well. So he can be at table level with us, and that cost £120. And then we ended up buying a bigger cot because he outgrew the one that we got secondhand, and that cost £360. So total on baby furniture is £680. Next up is the pushchair. We bought this new and it came to £720. That was definitely one of the biggest expenses, and that price is also excluding other things that we've bought for the pushchair since then, like a foot muff for winter, the rain cover and a sun cover. So there's just more and more stuff. But that is all of our kind of like initial baby costs, and that comes to £1,440. And finally, the postpartum category. So obviously postpartum is continuing, like I'm still postpartum. I will be forever postpartum, it feels. But these are some of those like initial costs, like first 3 months kind of vibe. So my breast pump, I got the Medela freestyle breast pump thing, and then also like this bust thing that I attach it to so that I can be hands-free, and that came to £375. I bought myself 2 nursing bras from Bravissimo again, and that's come to £64. And then a whole host of new clothes and bikinis because my boobs got bigger and I couldn't fit into any of my old bikinis at all. And again, with the whole like big boobs thing and having to shop at Bravissimo, and if I want to get a matching set, it means I also have to pay for their very expensive bottoms. So 2 bikinis put me back £126. Ouch. And then most of these clothes you'll have seen in my postpartum breastfeeding outfits video. But Lucy and Yak came to £60, Jojo Mama Bebe came to £67. I spent £41 on Vinted, £92 on Depop, £23 on ASOS, and £16 at M&S. What did I buy from M&S? I can't remember. And all of the new clothes and bikinis came to £425. And then also recently I went to see a pelvic floor physiotherapist, and this I did not on the NHS. I went private for this, and that cost me £90 for 1 session. I may be going back for more, so that will obviously add up, but that was like my initial one. And so the postpartum total comes to £954. And so our overall total of how much it cost me, just me, not how much it costs in general, but how much it cost me to have a baby in the UK is £3,644.52. I hope I did all of that maths correctly. So there you have it. Was that number higher or lower than what you were expecting? Have you calculated how much it cost you to have a baby in the country that you're from? And what was that? Higher, lower, who knows? I hope that you found this interesting, or at least enjoyed nosying at my finances a little bit. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're doing well, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.